Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Friday, December 9th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can always find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Friday, December 9th. First up, we see Washington taking on Gonzaga. This one's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern start time. Now, similar to Thursday's card, we have another small college hoops card. There was only 8 games between Division I teams on Thursday. There's only 10 on Friday, but unlike Thursday's card, which was filled with games that were pretty interesting on paper, some rivalries, some Big Ten matchups, some pretty competitive teams, this Friday card, not so much. Most of the games, not really the best competition level in my opinion, and this would be the game I would say most people are anticipated for. Washington-Gonzaga here, both teams ranked inside the top 100 in KenPom, but you know, Gonzaga, they are 6-3 to start the season, coming off a win over Kent State, but they didn't cover the number in that game, really didn't have much of a chance to cover. They were laying about 15 points, 15.5 points, and they won by 7, and it was basically a pretty close game all the way through. So it is a little bit concerning to see Gonzaga have those 3 losses. Yes, they were to some really good teams, Texas, Purdue, and Baylor, but really, they're also struggling against the number overall this season. And Washington, I think, has really improved this year, especially on the defensive end, where they're number 55 in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency, 13th ranked in three-point defense, which is really important against Gonzaga, a team that takes a lot of three-pointers. They shoot them at a great rate, 26th ranked in the country in three-point shooting. So I think Washington's defense can hang in there in this game, and I think you're getting a lot of points here. I don't expect Washington to win this game. I don't even think they're going to have much of a chance to win it, but getting those a boatload of points here, I wouldn't want to lay this many with Gonzaga, who just hasn't been good in the favorite role so far this season. Just hasn't looked like the same powerful Gonzaga team we're used to seeing in the last decade, the last 5 years or so in non-conference and in conference play. So I'm going to take the Washington Huskies here plus the points. I think they keep this game reasonably close. Next up, we see Arkansas State taking on Air Force. This one's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern start time. It's going to be the latest game on the board for Friday's card. And, you know, Air Force is a different type of team in college hoops. They use a Princeton offense, which is not many teams implement it still these days. Richmond is one of them that uses it pretty effectively. But with the Princeton offense, there's a lot of cutting and a lot of passing, not a lot of dribbling offensively, and it's a very slow-paced offense. Right now, Air Force is ranked 330th in average possession length offensively. So this is a really good shooting team for Air Force. They do turn the ball over a lot. They virtually get 0 offensive rebounds, so that's the reason why their offense is not really efficient in terms of just adjusted offensive efficiency, ranked 269th in the country. So with that slow pace, you know, they have to really be able to shoot the ball at a great rate, and they're ranked 40th in the country in effective field goal percentage, 94th in three-point percentage, 27th in two-point field goal percentage. But do those numbers hold up? I'm not sure. You know, Air Force had a very similar start to the season last year, shooting-wise, and those numbers fell quite a bit as the season continued. They ended the season ranked 306 in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. Now, when you look at the defense, Air Force has played very well defensively this season, but I do think getting a little bit lucky on the defensive end as well, ranked 31st in effective field goal percentage, 6th in three-point defense, while you know, their defense overall is ranked outside the top 130 in adjusted defensive efficiency. So, you know, I do think Air Force has benefited from their weaker schedule. They played a lot of home games as well. Now, they're home for this game also, but, you know, Arkansas State, I think, is good enough on the defensive end to compete in this game and maybe even have a shot to win it outright. They forced a lot of turnovers, which I said, you know, benefits them in a game like this against Air Force team that has big issues turning the ball over. Arkansas State also a good defensive rebounding team. So, you know, Air Force not really getting those second chance looks. They're going to have to shoot the ball at a fantastic rate in a game like this to give themselves a chance. And, you know, statistically, I just don't know if the regression is in their favor, I would say. I think you can expect a lot of negative regression from Air Force's offense as the season continues, and I wouldn't want to back them in a spot like this. So give me the points here with Arkansas State. Next up, we see Grambling taking on Vanderbilt. This one's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern start time on SEC Network. Grambling has played 3 true road games this season. They're 1-2 in those games, but that one win was against a 322nd ranked UTSA team in KenPom that's not really having a great year this year. Their 2 losses were against teams that were pretty solid in Grand Canyon and Arizona State, and both of those games were blowout losses. It was an 81-48 final score in favor of Grand Canyon, and then 80-49 in favor of Arizona State. So, when they stepped it up in competition away from home, it hasn't been doing it. They haven't fared too well, and now you're going up against Vanderbilt, who's ranked inside the top 100 and is playing its best basketball. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, all against solid teams in Fresno State, Wofford, and Pittsburgh. And I do think Vanderbilt got off to a little bit of an unlucky start to the year. They're starting to get things go their way, and they're starting to win ball games. And at home here, a good Vanderbilt defense. And the offense starting to pick it up as well. I just don't love their Grambling's chances in this one away from home. They fared well against some of the weaker teams that they played. They also do have that upset win over Colorado, but that was a home game. So away from home, I just don't love Grambling's chances. Give me Vanderbilt here or laying the points. Next up, we see Fordham taking on Binghamton. This one's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern start time on ESPN+. Sometimes in college hoops, I'm not necessarily making plays on teams, but sometimes making plays against teams that are maybe off to a little bit of a too lucky of a start to the year on both sides of the ball, and that's really Fordham, in my opinion, who takes a lot of three-pointers, not necessarily the best shot selection, as you see guys like Darius Quisenberry take shots from the logo almost, and he makes them at a good rate for now, but I just don't think that's going to be the case as the season continues. We saw last year Quisenberry ended the season with 185 three-point attempts and a 31% three-point percentage. This year he's above 40%, so I do think that those numbers are going to regress a little bit towards the mean, even if he has a better year from 3 this season. Fordham last year, we saw the same exact thing from this Rams team. They were off to an amazing start shooting the ball. In conference play, they lost 5 of their first 7 games, and they ended the season ranked 336 in three-point shooting and 321st in adjusted offensive efficiency. Yes, there's some personnel changes, and yes, the team is playing a lot better, but you look at their strength of schedule, they haven't really played a ton of tough teams. Now, Binghamton's certainly not a tough team themselves, but I do think Binghamton's good enough on both the offensive and defensive glass to give themselves a chance in this game. They played some tough teams. They played a couple of road games as well, and I do think Binghamton has a fighting chance in this game to at least keep it close. This is a play against Fordham. I'm going to take the points here with Binghamton. Next up, we see McNeese taking on Northern Iowa. This one's going to be a 8 o'clock Eastern start time, ESPN+. The final game we're going to talk about for this not-so-great Friday card in college hoops. Northern Iowa in the last few seasons has been really slow starters. Back in 2021, they were 1-5 to start the year. Then they improved in 2022 to 2-5 to start the season. At the end of the year, though, really strong. They had a nice 18-10 record in the regular season, 14-4 in conference play. And then this year now, they've improved just a little bit more. They are 3-5 to start the year. But I do think Northern Iowa is a lot better than its current record. And I do like this spot here for them against McNeese, who is struggling on both sides of the ball overall in the South. A team from the Southland here ranked 359th in adjusted defensive efficiency, 331st on the offensive side. They turn the ball over a lot. They're just not good enough defensively. Now, at times, McNeese has had some success in terms of their shooting percentages, and a lot of that's been because of their three-point shooting and their second chance looks in terms of getting those offensive rebounds. They're ranked 76 in the country in offensive rebounding percentage, but Northern Iowa is really good on the defensive glass. They don't make a lot of mistakes on defense, and they also take care of the basketball. They don't turn the ball over much, so this is just not a great spot. McNeese on the road here again, their 4th straight road game. Give me Northern Iowa here, laying the boatload of points. And that's it. Those are the games we're going to talk about for Friday's card in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.